Hi, guys, and welcome to Reality with T. So, let's talk about this Married at First Sight reunion. Well, no, the decision day and then the reunion special. Okay. So let's start with Bennett and Amelia. I never really spent too much time on them because, they're just like the perfect couple. Like, we already know that they're going to stay together. They're going to say yes, as I predicted. Of course, Bennett comes out with his big surprise, and you find out that he has a tattoo with Amelia's name on it, and everybody thinks it's so funny and blah blah blah. But basically he's been spending time in Virginia. I think he has a job in Virginia and he's been at home. So they're good, exactly what we thought, right? Now Olivia and Brett come back, and I guess we already know that they've decided not to be together, but I guess this is just to kind of like have a closure or whatever, talk to the experts about what happened. So you can tell when Olivia comes in, her face is not about the mess. You know what I'm saying? She is very upset about the whole situation and with Brett. And I think that she was probably embarrassed, probably hurt, probably disappointed that it didn't turn out the way that she wanted it to be. So, it was sad for her, which we knew from the beginning, and we've been saying this from the beginning, that she was matched with somebody who was very insecure, who was an asshole. You know what I mean? So unfortunately, she wasn't able to get out of the experiment what everybody else was able to get out of. Even if they didn't choose each other, at least they were able to go through the experiment, and that was robbed of her when he left her, and just kind of left her to pick up the pieces for them when he left the apartment. So Brett talks about how he feels that she just wanted a husband. Just anybody could have been put in that spot, and I really didn't think that was true. I did feel like she wanted somebody, and I do think at one point she was interested in Brett, but she also had her parameters up. She's set in her ways. She wanted what she wanted, and she also didn't compromise very much. And she was a little bit judgmental. But I don't think that she just wanted a husband and could have fit anybody else in there. I didn't find that from her. They talked about the text messages, how he's been texting her, and she finds that to be ingenuine, which is something she's been saying about him the entire time, right? And so they comment saying that Olivia kind of just looks like she shut down when she walked in, because I think she's over it. Brett says that they could tell that he was happy to. I mean, the experts say they could tell that he was happy to see her, and Brett said that he was happy to see her. He's happy to see that she's doing well. He was always interested in her. It just didn't work out between them. They were a mismatch, and I do believe that. You know what I mean? But Olivia feels like that's fake. She says when I come in and he says, "Hey, hon," the whole time she's been saying that she thought that Brett said and did things just so he could look good on camera, and she still feels that way. Him saying, "Hey, hon," she didn't think it was genuine, and he keeps reassuring her like everything was genuine. Like, I do care about you as a person. I hope that you're doing well. We just aren't okay in a relationship. So in this point, he does seem mature enough, mature over her in this situation, because she's still the one holding on to a lot of animosity, and she has reason. But it was just very apparent in this decision day that he is kind of taking the high road, we like to say, in a way, and she's still kind of stuck in her emotion about it. So Brett says he never really felt safe opening up to her. Olivia feels that Brett was disinterested in her as a person. She always said that she felt that he was surface level, that he everything he did was to look good. He was a different person on camera than he was off camera, and she never got to really know who he was. She never got to that deeper level, and I think that's because he doesn't really know who he is. We have seen time and time again from him, a lot of insecurity, a lot of him trying to fit the mold in certain situations, being very defensive, using defense mechanisms when he feels uncomfortable, when he feels insecure. So I think that he's still trying to figure out who he is. So there's no way she can know who he is if he doesn't know who he is himself. And I do agree with her in that she never found out who the real Brett was. They talked about intimacy. Olivia said, "We would be right there, but I kind of knew intimacy wouldn't happen," because she said very, very strongly, "When I was attracted to you." She felt like when she was, maybe they could have gotten hot and heavy, but then he would say or do something that was sarcastic, or, he would start checking himself in the mirror, which she felt is very vain, and it would turn her off. You know what I mean? Like, why, if we're in this mode, of romanticism, whatever it is, are you like now being really sarcastic and throwing us off? And you know what I mean? And I can see him doing that, and I can see him seeing why that is not seeing why that is a problem. And it also explains why he's a serial dater. He's constantly looking for something. He's never going to find it unless you get somebody that, like I said before, is very shallow, who thinks he is, an Adonis, he's richer than them, he's bigger than them, he's more attractive than them. That's the only person he's going to get, because he cannot feel like he is less than his partner, because that's his insecurity. So, they notice that Olivia is hurt and upset, and Olivia keeps asking Brett certain things, and she's not really getting the answer that she wants. And the experts say, I just want to let you know, I don't think that you're ever going to get the answer he's never going to be able to give you what you want to hear the way that you want to hear it. So I think at that point, it's just kind of like you kind of have to walk away from this knowing that whatever closure you're looking for, the why, you'll never get that from him. And that sucks, but like sometimes that's how it has to be, right? So, he reassured her again. I just want to let you know that I was not being ingenuine. And I think that his intent wasn't, like, he doesn't think that he's being ingenuine. It's just hard to tell when somebody's genuine when everything that comes out of their mouth is sarcasm. So it's like, when are you being real? When are you being sarcastic? And that's the problem that she had. That's the problem that I have. Like, when are we joking? When are you being serious? He doesn't get that. That's his way of being. You know what I mean? So his sarcasm to him is just him, oh, I'm kidding, you should know, that kind of a thing. But it's like, if I don't know you, I'm getting to know you, I don't know you. I don't know that you're being real or not. I don't know that you're being funny or being serious. And this is a point where I have to be serious. And he probably doesn't know when, and he probably feels like he gets kind of awkward. He doesn't know when he should be serious. He doesn't know when the sarcasm is out of place. He doesn't know, it's just something about his social skills are kind of off. He doesn't know when certain things are appropriate and when they're not. So I think that's what I think about Brett. But I do think that he did like her at one point. He was into her. I think she did like him at some point. I do think he cares for her and her well-being, like I said. Basically, they talk about how there was no communication the entire time. And, I think that the sarcasm makes other people think that he doesn't care about it, which is what he wants. When something really bothers him, he's sarcastic. That's his defense mechanism. So then you think that he doesn't care about what's happening when he really does. So it's all very misleading, and it's all miscommunications that they've had the entire time. And it's really hard to get to know somebody who is like that constantly, which I said from the beginning, that would be annoying. That's going to be a problem. That would have been a problem for me. So, it is what it is. She's not attracted to him anymore. He still has all of his issues. He's still a serial dater. He's been matching with her friends on Tinder. He's been saying things that she feels are like a little forward and appropriate, which is what we know from him, because he was that way at the bachelor party. And, basically it was already written, his behavior. Her, we see she's still upset about it, but hopefully they can both move on and find somebody who is worth their time and efforts. Cameron and Miles, this was a shocker of the decision day for me, because Miles said yes. I was so sure he was about to say no. Cameron said yes. I was so sure she was about to say no, right? So basically something transpired with them, because they both said within the last 3 to 4 weeks, something transpired where he felt like she was putting in more effort. She was being more affectionate. She was meeting his needs better. So I don't know, did they hook up those last 3 or 4 weeks? What was going on? Maybe they got to second base. Whatever it was, he was like, okay, maybe I could stick in here and give it a try. So they both said yes. Let's just be clear. Cameron looked beautiful on decision day. On the reunion, she looked gorgeous. She like, the girl is bad. You know what I'm saying? The only thing is just like that attitude of hers, her behavior is very off-putting, but she is beautiful. You know what I mean? And they make a beautiful couple, and I'm glad they said yes, but we're missing a piece here. I would like to get to the bottom of how did they get to saying yes? From where we last saw Miles and Cameron when they left that apartment, and he said basically, it sounded like he was saying to us, the deuces, I had a good time the last 4 months with you, but peace. How they got to what happened in them 3 weeks that they got to where they're saying yes, but maybe we'll see it in the future. So then we have, Amani and Woody, they're great. We already knew they were going to say yes. He became emotional. She played a little trick on him, and she was like, I want a divorce. And he's just kind of stuck there. And she basically did it because she wanted to see, are you going to leave and flip tables? Like, that's the test. And she laughed, and they laughed about it. And, you know, they, of course, they were staying together and everything is going to be beautiful. And even the experts were crying because the way that he explains his love for her and how his life changed since she became his wife and got into his life, and how does not want to live without her was just so beautiful. So, you know, I'm glad that they are sticking together and they're still together and everything is peachy clean for them, right? So now Christina and Henry, you know, they both said no, which was not a shocker, right? They did discuss the text messages, and, you know, she started to give a defense or an excuse, and Henry was just like, Christina, stop it. You know what I mean? Now we see Henry talking. We see him standing up for himself. We see the experts seeing the dynamic between them. She's confronted now about this whole blackmailing situation. And you notice that whenever they confront her about something or she's caught in her lies, she's like a kid. You know what I mean? She's just kind of stuck like, no, but I did. And he's like, no. You know what I mean? And it just makes me feel like, and I was also looking at Little Black Book 91, who does an excellent breakdown of her behavior. He's a therapist of some kind on YouTube. Look him up, from the UK. And he does a very good breakdown of her behavior and how something must have happened to her in her childhood where, you know, this is her method of survival. You know what I mean? It's almost like she's reverted back to a child in that moment. For some reason, her defense is to lie. When she feels attacked, when she feels unsafe, let me lie, do what I have to do, scramble in order to save myself. And you can see that when she is confronted about her lies. It's almost like she's a 5-year-old saying, I didn't steal the candy, I didn't do it. You know what I mean? But, you know, this time Henry wasn't having it. They asked about the blackmail. She kept trying to reassure him, I didn't think you were gay. And he's like, that's a lie, because you were telling me this, and that, whatever was transpired off the camera. He's like, you are lying. You know what I mean? She says again that she felt blindsided by him. He should have told me that he felt that way. Granted, he should have told her how he felt at the dinner. For some reason, he doesn't tell her anything to her face, but it is surprising that you would be surprised that he would feel this way about being blackmailed and about being blackmailed about exposing that he's gay to the world or whoever she was going to expose it to. Of course he would be pissed off, upset, embarrassed, doesn't want anything to do with you, etc., etc., etc. Like, that shouldn't be blindsiding to you. Granted, he should have said it before. He kind of made you think that, oh, you guys were past it. But like, your behavior is Christina, listen to me. Your behavior is atrocious. Your behavior is despicable. It's deplorable. So yes, the way that you behave and the things you do to people, it affects them and they have the right to react to it. Okay? So I just hope that one day she understands that, because her moving through life as an adult behaving in this way is toxic, and she will never be able to sustain a relationship doing these things that she does. All right, let's move on very quickly to the reunion. So, you know, we start off with and I might have mixed a little bit of the reunion into the decision day because they were like one day apart. So you have Amani and Woody, of course, and everybody looks great again. I mean, Amani just looks beautiful. Her outfit was so cute and appropriate. I just think everybody looks beautiful. Amani, you know, she disclosed that she's been trying to change her name for a while, but because of COVID, a lot of the offices were closed, but she's trying to change her name to Randall so she could be Mrs. Randall. And, you know, they talk about how they're still in the honeymoon phase. And then there's a point where Kevin, and I think he's a great host. He needs to be hosting 90 Day Fiance, okay? So Kevin kind of says something like, Woody, have you been honest and open with Armani? And I like that Armani is like, yes, he has. You know, she's always defending him. And he's like, you're sweating over there. She's like, well, it's a little hot. You know, it's the lights or whatever. And then you get to the point where you know, Woody's kind of like, I don't know how to say this, but he gets on his knee and proposes again. And he gets emotional. And he basically says, now, you know, basically, like, now I'm choosing you type of a thing. And it's very sweet. And I'm just, the way that we get to see a man professes love to somebody, a Black woman on TV, is so refreshing. You know, it's really heartwarming. You know what I mean? So, and it's really why everybody gets emotional, because it's like, we don't see that often. You know what I mean? And just the way that it happened, it was almost like it was fate. So I'm very happy for them. And you have Brett and Olivia, right? Because Brett says because of COVID, he cannot come to the studio because his job has restrictions on that. What do I think? This is typical Brett. The lies, you know, the excuses, the inability to take accountability for his actions, the whole thing. He just doesn't want to be confronted again. He doesn't want to be made out to, he doesn't want to seem like he's being made out to be the asshole. He doesn't want to be around Olivia again. So, I'm just not going to go. And that's the way he behaves. But they talk again by everything being so surface level. She says that they didn't click. They just weren't compatible. The issue was Olivia says, I know in the future, I know somebody who does not want kids. I want somebody who wants to experience things for me. And I want somebody who wants me for me. So that's great that now this because of this experiment, you now know exactly what you do want in a partner and what you're not going to accept. So they both did grow from this, at least Olivia did. Brett says what he learned from this is that he wants, he wants to be with somebody who wants to make the marriage work. So basically, while they're both saying what they want in a man, they're also taking little digs at each other, because they're saying that person that they were matched with did not do those things. Okay. He did find Olivia to be judgmental. He felt like he was an accessory for her, and which I don't believe. I don't believe that, but whatever. And she calls him, of course, what we've been saying, a sarcastic asshole who's very insecure. And that's when she talks about the whole Tinder serial dating thing. But she felt he wasted her time. And she also did say, if you're going on all these dates and you're always complaining about money and you were judging me about going out and spending my money and having fun, how are you going on all these dates? Aren't you paying for dinner for these girls? Maybe not. I don't know. Christina and Henry. Oh, God, this made me cringe. It did. So, Christina says, she talks about Henry saying that he was really, he was not really craving intimacy with her, and it was very awkward and it was a struggle. And, Henry does say again, obviously I want to be intimate with a woman. You know what I mean? But there were issues that happened from right at the beginning as to why I didn't even if I wanted you, I didn't even want to lead you on because I didn't want to get to that space with you in a way, right? So, he also says, on paper, you and I would have been a good idea. The same thing Miles said about Cameron. On paper, meaning that your resume matches up. You know what I mean? You probably have a good job, you have a good family, you have this, and that, but us two are not compatible. He discloses that, she'd been in a relationship for 5 years. And so I already didn't trust the situation because you just got out of it, I think 7 or 8 months before meeting me. So I think that you need time to process before you move on from a 5-year relationship, right? So, he then discloses that, I think she said something to him to make him go a little bit further, where he says, at our wedding, I had friends that were coming up to me telling me that you were in a 5-year relationship with a married man. And I've never felt so uncomfortable. I don't think at a reunion in my life. I felt like, in a way, I understand why he's pissed off, but to me, it went a little bit too far, because at that point, she was just humiliated. She's crying. She felt exposed. Everybody else on the stage was very uncomfortable. I really did feel for her in that moment. She just kind of kept saying, I just want this to be over. I want this to be done with. Because she already has so many issues that were exposed and highlighted on national TV. Then for that, your dark secret to be exposed, it's got to be a lot. You know what I mean? But it also explains why she settled for the type of men she had in the past, the behavior, the way that they treated her in the past, why she thought Henry was such a good catch, why she was very overly emotional about the smallest compliments. It's almost like nobody ever told her anything good about herself, or she didn't believe anything good about herself, like him saying she was a good writer and her completely breaking down about it. It just explains that you've been a side piece. You know what I mean? Anybody that's okay being a side piece, to me, there's a piece of self-esteem here that is missing, because she obviously wants to be a wife, a girlfriend, a companion. So when you're hiding this relationship on the side, I have my own thoughts about it. I'm not going to get too deep, because I don't want to offend anybody. We can talk about it in another video. But for you to be okay being a side piece, there's something deeper going on there. Because if you respect yourself, you would never, and if you respect other women, you would never settle for just being a secret piece on the side that gets seen when the wife doesn't know about it. I could never take you out. You're hiding me. I couldn't be in that type of situation. And also, I have respect for the other woman. This is not a nice or good person if he is lying on to his wife and sleeping with somebody else on his wife. While you could be like, oh, we have such great chemistry, he's a great guy. He's not a great guy if he's a liar and a cheater and a skank. But that's just my theory. Miles and Karen. And then of course Christina says, I'm seeing someone and we travel a lot and it's very casual. And she spoke too much about it. Again, she's also trying to show us that she's wanted. You know, she spoke too much about it for it to be casual to her, even though she says it's nothing serious and we're traveling and this and that. If she might be making it up because we know she's a liar, but does she understand that, again, this is not your boyfriend, but you're talking about it over and over and over again because she wants Henry to know that people do want me. Even if you didn't want me, people do want me. And that's just her trying to tell herself that because she has very low self-esteem and self-respect. So, and I don't know if you guys, this is the last thing. I don't know if you guys remember from one of the episodes, I think it was the last episode where they had the dinner, when she was like, yeah, because so many people wanted to marry me. So many people like really love me and this and that. And that's not true, because if that was true, you wouldn't be on this dating show, girl. So, you know, that's what she's trying to tell herself. And it's, to me, honestly, to see people like that is very sad. Miles and Karen, they're still together. Karen made a lot of weird faces that I'm sure my boy Little Black Book wrote down each and every one because he's into the body language thing. But some of the things that Miles said, if you notice Karen's expression, which is kind of like, you know what I mean? And it's not a big expression, but you can tell that she felt a certain way about things that were being said. And something he said made her kind of, you know, get defensive and jump back at him. I think it was when she said something about, I forgot what it was. But either way, you know, they're still together. Supposedly they live together. They live right up the street from Imani and Woody. They see each other like on a daily or almost daily basis. They're having a good time. Again, I would like to see the dynamic now. I would like to see what happened, what's different now. How is she meeting his needs? Is he settling? Is she settling? Like, what's going on here? Because there's a piece of it that we missed when was the chemistry? When was the spark? But apparently they have consummated their marriage. They're into each other and they're living like husband and wife. So I would like to see the after, because we spent so much time in this limbo phase in the beginning. And then lastly, let's see. Yeah, and then I didn't even put anything down about Amelia and Bennett. You know, they're in Virginia. They did a song, a corny little song for Kevin Frazier. They're having fun. They're having a good time. Not thinking about kids anytime soon. Bennett is working in some type of environmental plant type of a thing. They're doing well. Amelia works like most of the day because, you know, she's on her residency. So, you know, they're doing great. Either way, let me know what you think. Respond, like, comment, share, do all the good stuff, and I will see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.